two more people that we're going to talk to real quick. Well, three more people, but two more people up here. Steve, why don't you come on up? Steve Rodenbaugh. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if any of you want to get into motorcycle racing.
Not too much, but I want you to explain. I want them to get a slice of your life. Like, you have kind of an unusual life.
I have an amazing life. I do things that most people wouldn't dream about doing. I'm good at it. I'm an athlete, and I've been successful with it. Motorcycle racing was a guy that was racing a year before I started, a friend of mine up at Bel Air Country Club. And I said, okay, if you're in, I'm in. And that's how it started. I was familiar with motorcycles. I ride them, and I was familiar with being on the racetrack with them. I wasn't familiar with the commitment and what it took to race. And that's when I said, this is what I'm going to do. I made that commitment, ended up with 2 motorcycles instead of 1. Most people use 1. I got bored very quickly sitting around waiting for the next race. So I went out and bought another bike and said, here, I'm going. I did 6 races a day, and and you're not racing 60-year-old guys, you're racing 20-year-old guys. And it's kind of cool because yeah, of course. And it was cool hanging around with those guys. Part of my life, I loved it. I loved the young men. I got along with them great, and it was very inspirational. And they liked me, and it was just a fun weekend every time that I did that. And I was very successful. I got 8 championships. I got the track record. And I was 62 years old. I mean, who's doing that stuff? You know, and I did it with passion and love and enjoyed the company, probably most of all. That was my motorcycle issue.
Tell them about, so you have fulfilled a dream that everyone wants who lives in Southern California. You can just fly a helicopter places and skip the traffic. Tell them about how that all happened and what point in life that happened. I'm just kidding. There's so much you guys we can relate to this. Like, you think we're talking about motorcycles, and Steve's like, oh, we want to talk about motorcycles? We're not really talking about motorcycles. How many people get that here? You think we're talking about helicopters? We're not really talking about helicopters. How many people get that here, right? There's a certain approach and a way of life that I want you to kind of see in the way that he goes about it. Go ahead.
I had a pilot's license when I was 23 years old or something, and I've had that for a long time. I went up with my buddy who bought an R-44, which is a 4-seater helicopter, and got out of that thing and go, that is so cool, I'm in. I went right to the FBO and I said, let's do this. And I don't know where that comes from. I don't know why I'm built that way, but it's awesome because you can do whatever you want to do. And they were talking about fear earlier. Fear is from the dark side. It's useless. It has no value to any one of us. If you live in the light, there's no fear. And there's risk-taking, but when that risk-taking steps into fear, now you're in trouble. You're on a motorcycle, you're going 130, 40 miles an hour, and all of a sudden you're afraid, you're in trouble. You have to take that and put that behind you. Flying a helicopter, same thing. I had an incident where I was taking off and the engine started missing. You don't want to ever be in that situation. And no panic, no issue, knew exactly what to do, and I set it down on the ground way out the end of the airport. People came running out, you know, what happened? But it's just that confidence, knowing what you're doing, and doing it with no fear attached.
I like how you said setting it down. Would another word for that be
crash? No. No crashes. And it is kind of cool when I had to fly down to Hemet.
Yeah.
And we got there, what, in an hour? Hour and 10 minutes or something? And
So So you sail, you fly planes, you fly helicopters, you race motorcycles. Talk about racing Porsches. And when was your last?
It's expensive. It's expensive. It's all this stuff that I'm sharing with you is a skill level. And the skill level comes from a lot of practice, and it also comes from your own ability, your natural ability to be able to perform under certain circumstances at high speeds. And so focused, so focused that whatever happens around you doesn't even affect you. So I was in a race car. Very interesting about racing cars. You'll see a car exit the track, and 3 seconds later, it's straight across the racetrack. It's out to the right, and it ends up coming right back across the track, right in front of you. And when you've seen that a couple of times, and you're racing, and that happens in front of you, it's dicey. And this guy,
That's not the word I would use.
this guy goes off the track, and I'm watching it. You know, I'm still driving the car as fast as I can go, and this car does 3 or 4 spins and then comes right across the track. Now, what are most people going to do? Slam on the brakes, panic. I just didn't even affect me. I missed that guy probably by 50 feet, going 130, 40 miles an hour. I knew what was going to happen. I saw it. Didn't even faze me. And I just kept focusing on where I'm going to go. He went right in front of me, and I just kept going. I don't know why I have that ability. It's a gift. Same thing with, I race mountain bikes. Same type of focus. And when you're in that zone.
Real quickly interrupt you here, because not you've done this in the past. You still when was the last time you did a race Porsche?
2 weeks ago. Out at Buttonwillow.
So you cannot use the excuse.
3 first place.
You can't use the excuse.
Yes.
I'm too old. Right? You're starting, you're doing.
No. Don't ever accept the position you're at or in and not try to step out and do things that you want to do. The word no stops your life. The red lights going home stop your life. Don't accept that. Just run them. No, don't run them.
Make sure you're in your Porsche though.
You don't want to do that, but I get to the point where I'm at a red light and I go, my life is literally stopped. I can't do anything but wait for that stupid light.
What was the last time you did the mountain bike? You just took out a couple of mountain biking right there.
I actually, you guys know what the cannonball run is? All right. Well, I did that a month ago. And my first stop was Raleigh, Massachusetts? But no, I can't remember.
You go all the way down the eastern seaboard, Florida, and you end up in Cuba.
Yeah, that's where we ended up. Started in Massachusetts, some little tiny town. Had a bike shipped to the hotel, and I just started riding it for 2 days. I got there a couple days early, and I just took off. I explored that whole place. I knew where everything was, and I just don't sit around. I don't know why.
And then you shipped your car out there too, right?
And I shipped the car out, but yeah, you have to do that. My Prius? Yeah.
What car did you ship out?
I have a Porsche Turbo.
So that's what you drove down the eastern seaboard.
Yes.
With all the Lamborghinis.
With the Lambos and there was 2 cute girls that were dressed up as nuns. And they're in this red Ferrari. It's like, come on, girls, paint it camouflage. But pulled over the highway patrols, got them, they're writing them a ticket. That's the first day into the deal. A lot of people got tickets. Another incident, we're on the interstate in North Carolina or something. They shut the whole thing down. They were screaming at us because these guys are, I thought the motorcycle guys were crazy. These car guys are really crazy, out of control, and the cops went nuts. I mean, they just stopped the whole interstate, started yelling at us. You know, they didn't write us a ticket, but.
How many people think this gentleman here, Steve, would make a good TV show host? Good, because he has a show.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Yeah, it's being produced right now.
But my life's.
He makes a great co-host too. He
Oh.
came on and co-hosted my show. Was actually a guest on my show. That's when he flew his helicopter out to Hammett. I get this call that I invited Leith on my show. She said, "Can I bring my friend with me? And by the way, do you mind if we fly our helicopter out there?" I said, "Well, I guess that's great. Only if you take me in a ride."
We're
Yeah.
really short on time, so maybe we can start to wrap it up with this. You kind of have a certain belief about enough. I don't want to say it all, but
Enough.
yeah.
Help me out here.
I say too much. Well, it's just a lot of people feel like they got to do more, and they got to do what else are they going to do, and who else are they going to be, and
Well, I think, here we go. Each one of you are so important. A lot of people don't realize that. Your lives are the greatest thing that you can have. There is no more valuable thing than each one of you and your lives. And those lives can bless people, they can grow companies, they can make a difference in the world. And it's no dress rehearsal, people. Your life is so important and so critical and so valuable. And I'll do a little God thing here. He created each and every one of you. Whether you believe that or not, it's no problem. But there's no one that has ever been like you, and there's no one that ever will be like you. That's how important each and every one of you are. You are amazing. And when you step into that, and you own it, and you know it, you're blessed.
Quick questions for Steve. We got to move on. We got one more. Anybody want to ask him some questions here? Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
What cylinder is your back?
She's speaking English?
She is speaking
Speaking-
English.
okay, sorry.
What cylinder is your like is 1,200, 1,100, 1,000 with CCs?
Oh, my motorcycle? I have 5 or 6 of them. So I have a couple of BMWs. Oh, I raced a Honda 600, and then I raced a Suzuki 750. You had the open class, and then you had a 600 class. Oh, yes. Yeah. It's a nice.
Questions? Yes, Suzanne.
No, never done that.
Lee, yes.
I can't, that's not going to help me at all.
I just have to tell one story about Stephen. He drives with his knees and plays the drums.
And I run the red lights, and I never get tickets.
Yes, Lynn. Yes, over here, David.
How your philosophy and your attitude towards how you live life fullest, how you apply that in your business and your success. That would be
this is going to sound a little maybe conceited, but I'm completed. I am in a great, like she said, she could talk to anybody. I can talk to anybody in the world. Nobody would faze me. Nobody's better than any one of you, ever. And you can talk, and you should be able to communicate with anybody. But your light, who you are, what comes out of your mouth, is so important to being a leader. You don't get in a room with your men and start swearing. You know, the worst thing you can do is say bad words. You don't need that. You're respectful. These guys work for you. You love those guys. And they know it. And when you have employees that love you, you can do anything you want. And ask them to do anything. Because they're there, they support you. And you support them as much as they support you. So that's what makes me successful in business. I don't lie, I don't con, I'm very honest. And everyone knows it.
Go ahead.
What brought you to this core belief, principle based living? What has brought you to this piece? And I guess clearly.
Well,
I'm just curious.
my life is to glorify what comes out of my mouth, how I live my life, what I say, what I do, how I act, how I interact with people, how I do business with people, is to glorify my Creator. That's kind of it. Well, I know where I'm going when I die, and I have no problem with that at all. But that's not why I do those crazy things. I don't count on passing away in the middle of a takeoff.
Live life to the fullest, absolutely. Big round of applause here for Steve.
I want to say one more thing, too. So, how many of you want to live a legacy? How many of you want to leave a legacy? Can you believe this guy? I mean, is he not living and leaving a legacy? This is why when I met Steve, I said, you know, he and Leith were on my TV show, and both of them had such a light. And I said to him, you have got to have your own show. You've got to have a book. You've got to get on stages, because there's got to be a way for you to leave this legacy. It is an incredible legacy for him to leave, and I absolutely love his message. So think about, what is your legacy and how are you going to leave it?